What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corner Talks podcast. I have my good friend here, talented filmmaker, actor, Marc Anthony Sarria. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, man? Happy to be back.
Yes.
Gloomy day outside, but you know what? People like us, we hustle through it. We get creative with it. Dropping a new special today.
Exactly. And, I just want to thank you again for, being so supportive on my journey. Before the podcast, you mentioned something that was so nice, about the consistency. And that's all we can ask as artists, right? We can't compare with everyone else. We have to just compare with ourselves yesterday. And if we can, tell ourselves we're putting stuff out there or we're at least giving it a shot, what more can you ask for, right? Especially in the circumstances that we're in.
100%, man. Just staying creative as a creative, staying
Yes.
creative is the best thing to do. And it's hard because sometimes you're not like super motivated by it because of whatever the day might bring. But yeah, it's good that we have each other to sort of push each other through that. So I'm happy that we're able to come together to
Yeah.
have another talk, man.
Always bouncing ideas off each other and just inspiring us really. A lot of things, if you've been following our episodes so far, guys, Sorry and I, as I call him, we enjoy talking about video games. We enjoy talking about that technology and the PlayStation 5 console. I have no idea what it's all about because I'm one of the losers that doesn't have one yet. But I can't really complain because I tried my best. I followed all the Twitter accounts to notify me, but they decide to let you know when it's 1 o'clock in the morning, when I'm not nowhere near my phone. But nevertheless, we're fascinated by video games because, again, it tells stories. They inspire us for better storytelling. And I think as time passes, we're starting to see more of an appreciation for this medium. And, I've always been, from day one, back when I had Pokemon games, just invested in the storytelling and just seeing how it grew as a platform, from Pokemon to Uncharted, God of War. It's just really becoming more and more immersive. So on that note, I know we've been playing a lot of video games, or as more than we used to, because of, again, the circumstances that we're in. We were in a third lockdown in Ontario, and we're trying our best to stay sane. Right? It's a crazy situation that we're in, and I think the best way, also as a creative outlet, as funny as it may sound, but it's just become a reality. Video games is an outlet for creatives. It is a way, right? Sorry,
It's
it's
true.
a way for us to, just let blow off some steam, but at the same time, kind of escape into another world and see what kind of storytelling exists.
You know what? And I think that's so relevant because it's from movies to games and all the media in between. Like, it, as creatives, it's digesting those things that gives us the inspiration for our own work at times, right? So I really like to spend my time, exploring different storytelling methods.
Yeah.
Also, it helps that we genuinely have that love and appreciation for the technical aspects and the achievements of these modern games, these modern consoles, modern
Yeah.
storytelling. There's really the doors just open right now. We have the technology at our disposal to be able to challenge ourselves to do this differently, right? And to innovate, to create. Yeah, playing video games is what used to be perceived as nerdy is
Yeah.
now just like a really like interactive like cinematic experience.
It's kind of like trendy / hip if you think about it, like between Twitch and YouTube, people making
Yeah,
millions of dollars off of this technology. The enhancements with virtual reality, how it's going to integrate it. Like eventually, everyone's going to enjoy video games on some level, and it all started with
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And you know what? Twitch and like Instagram Reels being like a thing, and just people having that platform to just live game.
Yeah.
Think about it before, man. Before we even had that, we didn't like, there wasn't, unless you were really into that culture, the gaming culture, like
100%.
unless you looked for it, there was really no way to know what you liked, right? So like now for like a younger generation, there are these people on like Twitch playing games, inspiring like younger kids to like play a little bit, right? But like
Yeah.
exposing them a little bit more rather than inspire. But exposing, the exposure is insane.
I
And
think, yeah. No,
but yeah,
on that point, like I just want to mention too, like I've noticed with human beings, it's just our nature. We stigmatize everything that we can't understand or that we don't like, and we kind of judge others for playing. For example, like video games. Like I'm not saying it should take over your life, but there's nothing wrong with like video games. In my from my perception, is like a movie or a television show. You know, like that's a form of entertainment that someone enjoys. You know, and it doesn't always have to be relatable. Obviously, again, don't make it take over your life. You should have a well balanced, like with anything. But you know, like the parents and like, you know, even when you get older, like, oh, you're a loser, you play video games. It's like, well, what if it's like watching a movie? You know what I mean? Like Uncharted or a God of War. Like that's a movie to me. You know, just sitting down playing the game. Like, you know, I could go to the YouTube clips and just watch it for 4 hours, but I prefer to play the game. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah,
What's your
it's
take on that? Like, do you think it's evolving the stigma? Like, it's not we're kind of going away from that.
definitely, and it's for the way I think of it, and you're right, it is a different. It's a form of entertainment, and it's even more so like movies. And um, I'm just taking a look here at all I've been,
Sure.
because for the PS5, man, I've been really
Rub
just
it in, bro.
even replaying like PS4 games that were incredible to me already, but like
Right.
for those PS4 games playable on the PS5, it receives like a boost. The PS and I just want to talk about this quickly.
Sure.
The difference quickly between a PS4 game and a PS5 game playable. The PS4 on the PS5 gets a game boost. It boosts like the speed, a little bit of the graphics as well. And I was playing Avengers. I
Mm,
was getting right back to it because I had just finished God of War, which was an incredible thing, and I want to talk about that a little bit more. But
for sure.
I
Yeah.
was there was a patch, like a PS5 upgrade for the Avengers game
Right.
that was supposed to be, I think, delivered to us like at the beginning of the year. And that's when I got the game, and I was like kind of holding out on it to play it because I wanted to play it in the PS5
Right.
format.
Hmm.
Um, but they took like an extra couple months, so I just started playing it with the PS4 and like with the PS4 version, and then they released the PS5 version. I downloaded that and was like, fuck, I'm already halfway through this game. This better have some sort of like save migration where it like goes through, and it did, which is perfect. So I just like saved my stuff from the PS4, downloaded the PS5, the free upgrade for it, and I just picked up from where I was. But it surprised me how much of a difference there was between the native PS5 version
Yeah.
to the boosted PS4 version that you would see on the PS5.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not just a gimmick. Like there's actually improvements you're noticing
yeah,
more and more as you
yeah,
play it.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but it's all speed, man. It's all speed, higher graphics, ray tracing, like everything feels more real. The environments, and that's where
Yeah.
you're gonna see it. Like that's where
Yeah.
you're gonna see it the most because it's very. The PS4 was great, you know.
Yeah.
PS4 was great. God of War looked great. I remember we were talking about that previously, and you were like, "This game already looks so realistic."
Mhm. Yeah, no,
And
yeah, no, it does. It looks like a human being. I would take even screenshots on purpose because I would they look great out of wallpapers, like you know on the PlayStation 4
yeah, exactly.
while
And
you're in game.
yeah, and like there's photo mode on everything these days because everything looks so good. They're like, you know what? We know you're gonna want to take a picture of this shit. There's that feature for you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but
No, I always
but
I once
but
I discovered it for sure, man. Yeah,
but the PS5 boosts that so much harder. More so, you're gonna recognize it more in the environments because, like I was saying, the PS4 graphics were already pretty on point. Um, but it lacked a little bit in the environments, how you as a character or whoever you're playing as in whatever game interacts with everything. So you're gonna really recognize it in the color grading, the lighting, the environments, also crisper graphics themselves. And it only services you to play on like a 4K TV when you
yeah,
have a PS4. So sorry,
and it can run even to 8K.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that was really interesting. But I know that we wanted to chat on the differences there. but it's incredible, man. The speed
Yeah, yeah. The speed is
is
remarkable, I
exactly
heard.
what.
Yeah, and then the haptic feedback, right? You got the controller, the DualShock, which is something I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to. You know, just the aesthetic and the comfort behind that controller.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, I'm like, as soon as I heard the haptic feedback and I heard that game Astral World or Astral Play, just really sounds really immersive, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you know, the good news is it's still free, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
It comes with the console, which I'm
Oh,
really,
thank
really
God.
happy about because
Okay. Good.
the PS4 version, you know, that there's the playroom there, but it was kind of a way for them to sell you like the camera and the microphone and all this because
Yeah.
you can't even access it. I went back to the PS4 version of it after I cleared the PS5, and I was like, I remember seeing this like robot guy, and like I never really played the earlier versions. I know they had it for like the
Yeah.
earlier
Yeah.
consoles for PlayStation, but the first time I was introduced to it was when it came with the PS4, but you needed to buy all of these accessories to even like interact with it, so I never did because I never bought them. But this one comes with it, and the the game is fantastic. It's very reminiscent of like Super Mario World or like that kind of like 3D um, simple play, I want to call it,
Right.
because
Right.
Mario, it's like, you know, you hop around, you got the like you jump at this box or something. It's a
Yeah.
simple,
I think they call it a
fun.
platform. Yeah, like platform game. Like it's very.
Exactly, that's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, something to that effect where like you're just scrolling, like the screen is just following you and like what
Yeah.
you're doing. Yeah.
So it's very similar. The newer iterations of the Mario games were more of like a 3D, like explore your environment, but
Right.
still it's like a 3D version of those side platform environments that were in the earlier games.
Hmm.
So it reminds me a lot of that, as if it were to be, as if it had the aesthetic to look like a platform game in that 3D format as well.
It's a very
Um,
Nintendo feel for sure, like from what
for
I've
sure.
seen, and compared to again, and this is what I want to get into, like compared to a lot of the games like Miles Morales and God of War, like you don't typically think of Sony games as Astro Play or Super Mario, but with that, I heard it's a really ingenious way to kind of promote the use of that controller, right?
Exactly.
And it's also a great demo to like just invite players in. Like you have to think about it. We grew up on PlayStation, but a lot of people probably that's their first console, you know, and they have no idea what they're getting into with Sony. So I think it's a really
Exactly.
cool way. I wanted to ask you because we're on the subject of games, right? So what games have you been playing so far during this lockdown, man?
So I just, man, back. I've been gaming a lot lately, man.
I've seen it, bro. I've seen it.
Like I know you probably
Yeah.
see it. You
every
probably
time
see
I'm
it all the
every time I'm
time.
trying to watch like a YouTube video, I just sign in. I'm like, is that Sarria 11 again?
Yes. So that's how I unwind, man. That's how I sort of
Nice.
decompress. I step back from my day, like been working all day, been staring at a screen all day,
Yeah, for sure.
turn my attention to that screen. I just look at screens all day. But
It's not the same. It's not the same. It won't hurt our eyes. Don't worry, man.
right. Do you know what? My girl actually got me to look into blue light glasses. Do you know what those are?
No, I never heard of it, but it sounds
So
cool.
I thought they were, and it's relating to this what we're talking about, but it's I thought they were like aesthetic glasses, like that, like they're not like you just buy it for the frame or the look, but the actual blue light lens stops certain, like the harmful rays in like
Yeah.
your phone or your TV. it
Right.
it stops that from going into your eyes, so it's supposed to help if you're looking at screens all day. They recommend that you get that, so I actually
Yeah.
got that because I was well, I'm looking at screens all day. I'm working from home, and then
Yeah. Of
on my
course. Of
off
course.
time, I'm watching like a movie, playing a game or something. So I got
Yeah. Of
those, which
course.
is awesome.
Nice.
But yeah,
There you go.
so I've been wearing that as I'm gaming, and it hurts less. But um, what I've been playing, we were talking about God of War for a while, man, and I was telling you that I was just about to get on it. I ripped through that entire game, man, 100%.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it was incredible, bro. And you know what? I had that game for a while, but I slept on it like it was no one's business. I was
Yeah.
like, because at like just before then, I was playing like Spider-Man. I was like really obsessed with the Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4, and
Of
I even
course.
played it again when I played it over twice on the PS4 and then once again on the PS5 just to take advantage of like what would be new. And then transferred over to Miles Morales once that was a thing. So I was like really in this like modern day superhero vibe, and I was pretty much always playing that. So like God of War is a completely different vibe. It's like Greek mythos, like kind of Viking vibe. Reminded me a lot of like, and not even just the aesthetic really of like kind of a Game of Thrones thing. Like it's like just this old world stuff, and Game of Thrones actually, even like I never watched that show, and I actually started watching it after I played this game because it was like kind of in that same realm of like
Yeah.
just that grit. But the
The
God of
Norse
War,
mythology, I just wanted to correct you there because I thought it was Greek mythology as well, but I
oh
remember it's Norse mythology because they diverted the timeline. This is the new God of War, right? 2018,
yeah,
the most
yeah, oh
recent. Yeah, so it's not technically Greek, even though I preferred the Greek mythology. It's actually Norse, so they're going a different path now.
oh I didn't,
Yeah,
you know what,
that's why the
because
next one, bro, is called Ragnarok.
oh that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
I was but in the OGs they were Greek, no?
they were. That's why you're confused. Don't worry, I made the same mistake. Until I
Because you
played
know
the
what,
game, I realized there was no Zeus.
yeah, that's hilarious. Well, because he
Yeah.
kills his father, spoiler alert. And
Yeah, yeah.
uh I should say spoiler alert before I say
We
he
just
kills his
lost
father.
we just lost two listeners.
um what was I gonna say? No, yeah, because I have the PS Vita as well, and I have
Oh,
the
that's dope.
trilogy. I have the original trilogy on there, so I was
Oh,
kind
that's
of playing
sick.
that like
The
on
whole
the
wait, you
side.
can play it on PS. There's a PS Vita version?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I mean, I'm gonna
Well,
cop it just to play the trilogy.
bro, just I when I got my PS Vita, I bought it jailbroken.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got it, there was an application on the actual Vita, and you
Nice.
can download all these games.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
downloaded the whole trilogy of everything, and like a lot of them are like PS3, PS2 native games
Hmm.
that are compatible on the Vita as well. But I was playing that, and I think I was kind of getting mixed up because I was playing them like side by side.
So I wanted
Um,
to get into God of War. Like, what was it the game that captivated you the most?
out of all of them,
Yeah, well, this one specifically because you
the
said this is the one
PS4.
that you've been playing lately, right? The PS5.
Yeah.
Have you played on the PS5 as well?
Yeah, so I never played it
Okay,
on the
perfect.
PS4. I played it on the PS5.
Oh, perfect. So I want to
Um,
know, yeah, what captivated you from a storytelling and graphics perspective?
honestly, man, it was such a deep story. You really felt the relationships with his son and himself, and along the way, you it was just kind of the way everything unfolded, and it
Hmm.
kept you wanting to figure out the next story beat, right? And I like when I have like a level of free roam ability in the game
Right,
as well. So being able to like to discover like areas around like Midgard,
right,
secret spots, and like the better I got, and the combat was fantastic as well, man. So like
100%.
I wanted, bro, like I'm done the game, and I'm like I still want to play, man. I still want to like fight. Like it was so much fun to fight. It was so
Yeah,
engaging,
yeah.
and and it had like similar, and most games do, but similar. I found there were similar like puzzle solving elements to like Uncharted, even where it's
Yeah,
light this up, light this up, this one opens, a path opens here, or whatever.
yeah.
But it was just like the mechanics were fantastic, the environment, and maybe because I played it on the PS5, I appreciate it was maybe able to boost other environmental aspects or elements. Because I never played on the PS4, so I can't compare it.
Yeah.
But overall, just the grounded story of it. As grounded as a Norse mythology video game could be,
Serpent coming out of the water.
but when you compare it to the cheesier sort of action of like the originals,
It's true.
this one
Yeah.
felt more gritty. It felt more real in a way. But it was definitely the relationship of the dad of Kratos and what's his fucking name? The
Atreus. I be Atreus.
Atreus.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Artemis, but that's not his name.
No, no, no.
Um,
This one I remember for sure. I know we screwed up on the Last of Us character names, but
yeah.
wasn't the name
Um,
Pam? The whole time I was like, yeah.
but yeah, man, it had to be the story for me, and the gameplay itself. The combat was really, really great. Um,
Yeah, I have
I
to.
don't know if we're gonna go into spoilers. There's certain parts of that game that were so deep, man.
Honestly, I don't mind. Like, spoiler alert for anyone hasn't played the game. But again, this is what we love to do, talking about. We'll kind of like gloss over it. We won't really dive in too much. But I did want to mention, like, just my take on the game is, I know what you mean by the immersive like action, like the gameplay. The
Yeah,
mechanics were really a lot of fun, and you just felt like you were this guy that was, because the other games, I felt like if you just keep pressing square, it was just like you kill a whole bunch of enemies at once.
it was more
But this
button
game,
mashing.
yeah, but button smashing, yeah, or whatever. And basically with this one, you felt like you had to take on each enemy head on, and you had to know what you were doing. And you could easily die if you're not careful, unless you play on beginner mode. But yeah, for me, man, like again, because I don't play video games that often. Um, Sometimes, like when I play these games, I get a bit impatient because I die a lot. Because again, I don't have that practice, and I'm maybe not as focused. So I just want to get. I'm so invested in the story. I just want to keep going by. So as much as I admired the mechanics, sometimes it came across really frustrating because I was used to the older games. But back to what you were saying about the grounded reality, I know exactly what you mean. It's not. It's still fantastical in a mythical place, but it was like so hardcore, the dynamic between the father and son, and the cheesy one liners. Like there was nothing there. It wasn't like testosterone driven, like I'm gonna beat the shit out of everyone. It was very there was an emotional core to the story. It was very delicate
Yeah.
in certain areas, and a lot of people don't realize that. So I wanted to get into the story dynamic, since we're on the subject. What did you want to discuss about the story? What kind of pulled you in or intrigued you?
So what I liked was how Kratos himself being so damaged and so it was very important for him that his son grew up learning the skills to survive and all the while being like holding the information that like he is himself a
Yeah,
god being right and you do see a little bit once he reveals that he is the change in his attitude like oh like oh my god I can do anything we want we could do anything we want right
yeah,
but it's like he wanted there was a lot of conflict inner conflict because he knew by not telling his son what his true nature was that it would affect him negatively and he would potentially like when like there's a moment where he gets sick he could potentially die at that point because he's not accepting of himself and the witch who was helping him sort of recover was like if he doesn't know he's a god or he doesn't know that like there's a lot of internal like there's an internal fight in him where he feels weak but he's
yeah,
strong right
yeah, yeah,
so like there's a lot of conflict because he's like he wants to teach the son the whole game through just like how to survive how to be a man how to take care of himself before he knows who he is he wanted to build him and I thought that was strong and that was strong throughout the
yeah.
game because you could really see you could really feel the emotion with like the son and obviously what he's going through he just lost his mom and he feels like the father's a little too rough and it just felt like a real story and it was really nice to see it sort of unfold and the father like Kratos like having more trust in him um, sort of revealing things as you go but man that
Well, I
was like
think,
that
yeah,
was wrong for me as like a parent myself like
yeah. There you go.
being able to
Yeah,
understand that dynamic to an extent uh,
and that just amplifies the emotions even more, for sure, man.
yeah
Yeah,
for sure but yeah I would say just the relationship there itself similar to The Last of Us where it was like those core two people that are kind of father
yeah.
figure child like once you're if you're really able to nail that sort of dynamic down that can just carry the whole game
Well,
essentially
yeah.
that within story.
I always say, man, and I'm glad you said that, because what I always say with storytelling and as filmmakers, well, something we always agree on is you have to have an emotional core. As flashy and as stylistic as your content is, there should always be something that the audience is kind of investing in or buying into, or you leave a mark on when you like, for example, you, man, right? You finish the game and you look at your child and you're like, I can relate to this as a father. You're not watching and saying, I would never be that strict. You know what I mean? You're like, no, like I know how protective a father can get. And I just enjoyed that aspect for me. For me, it was the biggest thing, the character arcs.
Yeah
Just humanizing Kratos, He's not a barbaric man. Side note, watch, I don't know if you have already, the documentary on PlayStation channel on YouTube. There's actually a documentary, an hour and a
Oh
half, on how
yeah,
they made it with the creator, man. And they did it for The Last of Us. And the creator actually explains how he wasn't going to do this video game at first, because he's like, the story's done. And then he's like, but there was such a huge fan base that he couldn't ignore it. And he's like, okay, but instead of just making God of War 4 and it's like the same mythology,
they
he's like, I'm going
rebuilt
to change
it.
him, give it a fresh look, treat the character like what would he be after going through this experience? Like, would he be traumatized? Would he have a lot of, paranoia? And would he take it out on his child? And they took all that, and that's how you see the relationship with the son. And the son's trying to become his own man, but at the end of the day, that's what's so emotional, so touching about the story, is all he needs is a father. All he wanted was a father or a figure to look up to. And Kratos was trying so hard to be something like he was making it more complicated than what it was. He felt he needed his son to be, the best of the best, the strongest of the strongest, because that's what
Because
he
of
would
his
say.
own baggage, right?
His
Like
own baggage and his own experiences of how much loss he had in his own life. And he goes through the story, and that's why he goes, come here, boy, and like, focus, boy, because he's treating him like, an animal, like a beast. Like, you have to become this person. And then he realizes by the end of the story is, all this boy really wants is a father,
yeah,
someone he can, confide in, someone he can feel close to.
exactly. And
And
it's
yeah,
something
sorry, go ahead.
something I just want to add to that point there is that dynamic, and like as a father again, and just like and or maybe one day you'll be like, you'll want to teach your kids
Exactly, man.
or children in your family from your experiences, right? So like there's a moment in the game where he finally reveals to him, he's like, I'm a Spartan, and what this means is like, like I've been trained to be a warrior from when I was young, right? So like
Yeah,
that's
for
all
sure,
he
man.
knows. So then he wants to put this
Pass it
knowledge
on.
on him, but
Yeah.
obviously this is like a different life that they're
And it
living. He
goes,
doesn't
yeah.
know, like he thinks he's a human, right? For as like
It boils down to, at the end of the day, any parent doesn't want their child to suffer. No matter how much they say, no, it's not about that. It's the reality. That's why they prevent us from pursuing maybe a dream or taking a risk or doing things that they never done, because they don't want to have that burden. They don't want to have that thought that I could have done something to prevent it. And it's very hard or challenging to be a parent. And something I want to mention is, I remember on the last podcast you were explaining to me, or no, sorry, I think it was the first one we did. And it stuck with me, actually. You said, as much as I enjoyed pursuing the arts, and we have to take that risk and that chance because it's something that's in our heart. I can see why my parents, had their second thoughts. And as a parent myself, because you have two children, a daughter and a son, you said to me, and this is someone that again was on Degrassi, that created a production company, that was on the film sets. The fact that you said, I wouldn't want them to pursue the arts themselves. Obviously, like, it's their life. Like, I'm sure you're not as strict, but that idea that you have that reservation in your heart, that wish, because you don't want to see them in pain or maybe suffer, speaks a lot, man. It speaks a lot to the fact that you would only understand if you're a parent. And
exactly.
this goes back to a point too, as well as another friend, like just someone I was talking to. Everyone has different opinions, right? But they were basically saying like, no, but don't you, like, he doesn't have kids obviously, but he's like, don't you want to see your kids like be happy and prosper? And it's like, this is what I mean by everything's in theory until you're talking to the person that's actually going through it. So for example, yourself, right? If I talked to you before your kids, you probably had the same attitude. And I knew you when we were really young, and I knew you would have that attitude, like, yeah, do your thing, whatever. But now that you have kids, right, it matures you and it changes you and it makes you see the world in a different light. And that's how I think they portrayed Kratos in God of War.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So
Honestly,
I
man,
just
I could
wanted to
go.
say that, man.
What I was what I was gonna say was gonna totally deviate from this whole thing.
No. We'll keep it. We'll
But I
keep
want
it
to
on
keep it
track.
on
But
thing. I want to
yeah,
keep it on
for
thing.
sure, man. We'll save
But
it for. Yeah. We'll save it for sure.
so I wanted to go into another game that I'm playing, man. So I
Okay.
was
Yeah. Sure. What's
because
another game?
yeah, so God of War, killed that in a second. I the Avengers, and I'm gonna touch on that again. So it is the most mediocre game.
I don't know how you're still playing it, bro.
I'm like
Uh,
determined to get to the good parts. I
oh,
just
it's taking that long to play.
Well, bro, it's
What is this?
very
The Witcher?
honestly, man, it's they did this game wrong and they did it
Wow.
dirty. They are like, I'm gonna give you my pros and cons for this game.
Okay.
So pros, let's start there. They try to have try. That doesn't always mean succeeding.
Yeah.
But the story itself, the campaign, which the game was never meant to actually be centered around. This game was meant to be pushed as like a games as a service, multiplayer online game, similar to like Destiny,
Yeah.
but without. And I haven't played Destiny. I've only seen videos comparing this game to Destiny, but without the charm and the perks and the
Right.
game
Right. Right.
satisfaction that you would get of playing Destiny.
Of course.
And like and you know me, man, I'm playing it for the story. So I
Yeah.
didn't really care about the multiplayer thing. Apparently, they're from what I heard before getting the game, there wasn't much replay value to it. And the developers from the beginning were like always like, oh, like even before the game dropped, like, oh, this is about the story, this is about like whatever, we're trying to do this justice and everything. And you felt the passion of these developers and going through. And even when things got kind of delayed with COVID, like there was like, they've constantly last year, they were kind of still hyping people up,
Yeah.
sending letters and like videos from the developers themselves, not even just gameplay trailers, just like to get people invested in them, what they're doing. And it just missed so many beats, and it's not what people wanted this to be similar to Spider-Man, where it was free roam, really, really strong first player story kind of thing. That like that's what
Yeah.
people wanted, because this game came off fresh off the heels of Spider-Man, and for a moment in time there, they were actually meaning to make it a shared universe.
Wow.
And Spider-Man PS4 to be the same Spider-Man that they're going to incorporate in the Avengers, because they revealed that they were going to be doing DLCs for extended story points, and to introduce new characters, which is now what they're doing, a more expansive
Hmm.
version of, because they were always going to do that. And then keep their focus on the multiplayer, but they've just released recently that they're kind of trashing the multiplayer idea. Like it's going to be there, they're not, but their focus is going to be now on developing as many DLCs as possible to expand the world that they've made, which I
Right.
think is a good direction for it to go in at the
For sure.
moment, right? Like there's two DLCs, or yeah, there's two DLCs right now. And
This was new characters, by the way, right? The DLCs that I've been seeing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the first one is Kate Bishop, which is Hawkeye's sort of Padawan, I want to say.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna say lover. I don't know
No,
the I
no,
don't know the series. Yeah.
no. It's so Hawkeye. What is that word? Anyway, but he's like he's
Apprentice.
apprentice, yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, okay,
so
okay.
so
Just
so
making
he
sure.
trains her, Kate Bishop, and she's like in a certain comic line, like another,
Nice.
like she's Hawkeye, with like the female Hawkeye.
Right, right,
So she gets introduced first as an extension of like the game, so they kind of wrap up a little bit of what like what's happening with the enemies of the actual the campaign storyline.
right.
And obviously bring back all the Avengers. It's not, you're just not just playing as this one person, you still get to play with everybody else, which is awesome. And then Hawkeye just got introduced in this in this new one, and they just dropped a trailer for the Black Panther DLC. And they're also going to be releasing a Spider-Man one, which has been hyped for so long. It was supposed to be out like at the beginning of this year. This was like a pre-COVID announcement that it was supposed to be here like around now.
Yeah.
But obviously with everything, things are being a little bit delayed. But I like that direction that they're going, and that's what's kind of keeping me there, because like I was
Well, they
saying,
they they have to definitely that's how they save games nowadays, right? With DLCs, expansion packs, and when I saw, it intrigued me, even though I still won't play it because I don't like it. Doesn't really look fun, like the dynamics, but the characters, like putting in Black Panther, for instance, I was like, okay, they're trying, like they're giving it a shot. And someone who's a diehard like you, I can see why you keep giving it that hope, right?
I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm taking in what they're saying, and they're moving in a direction that I think is better for the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I'm kind of optimistic about it. But
Okay,
they're
cool.
But yeah, they're going to be
So
dropping
let me
some other
ask
stuff.
you. So we established, I guess, it's the characters, the DLCs, and let's be honest, the brand that's keeping you playing. You love the
Yeah.
MCU, and you have comic books. If you're watching the YouTube version, guys, you'll see comic books behind him. He loves Marvel, and I can't blame him for that. So what is it about this game that you're not a fan of? What's going on, man?
So it's really the repetitive nature of
Okay.
everything. Like there are environments. There's a few different environments that they've created. I think it really hurts the game that it's not free roam, because that's
Like
what people
Spider-Man.
wanted. That was an
Yeah,
expectation. That was an
100%.
expectation for myself. It's free roam in the levels that they create,
Mm.
which isn't fucking free roam.
But would you
Uh,
want? But hold on, would you want to like? Because how would they divide it up into Avengers characters? Would it be like you would pick an avatar and play throughout the whole game as one, or
so
would you want to play as Iron Man the whole time?
so to be honest, Iron Man is one of the best
Yeah, 100%.
characters to
Yeah,
play as. Just
yeah,
like just the nature of what it is that like his specials, what he's able to do. I think the way that he can fly even is just really fun.
yeah.
So you're on a helicarrier for
Mm,
most of this game, right? Then like that's sort of like the home base. So you're on there, and then there's a war table that you can go to that you go to your missions.
nice.
But on this helicarrier, you can like change characters. You can decide to be anyone you want to be,
Hmm.
and you can play any of these levels as any of the characters, which I thought is cool. So I played. You can develop all these characters and their skills and their armors, whatever. So I've really invested a lot of my time into Iron Man.
Nice.
Just his mechanics are just the most fun because there are some that are a little bit like underwhelming to play. But it just comes down to like the kind of missions that you're on, and it seems like a very limited storyline. Like it was about AIM, which is Advanced Idea Mechanics. They're like this super company. Like they're like scientists, and they're just trying, like what they're doing is things that would generally help the world, but
Of course.
they are villains in a sense, where it's like they have all of this at their disposal, all this technology, and they're using it to for their own selfish
Malevolently.
wants,
Yeah, like for
right?
evil,
but
diabolical reasons.
but which isn't always like ending the world or attacking people, but it's like they're
Right.
doing something that's dangerous, we need to stop them. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
not even
selfish reasons, right? Like their own
so
interests.
so like the whole game is centered around shutting them down. So like all the fucking levels you're
Yeah.
going to like their bases, and it's this repetitive thing of like defending, like it feels like capture the flag in a way, where it's like you need to sort of like take out certain elements of like their base, defend it
Yeah.
for a certain time so that Jarvis can like break into it,
It's kind of
and
cool.
and
Yeah.
like, which is cool initially, and you
Sounds
can,
cool in
but
theory, I should say. Maybe when you do it, it's not as cool.
well, no, because it's cool when you play it, but my
Right.
whole issue with it is that it's so repetitive that it becomes boring,
Oh, okay, I understand.
right?
Like
So,
the first Assassin's Creed, where you have to kill people and then hide in a stack of hay.
well, yeah, but that was even more fun because it was free roam.
No, no, it was free. That's I think that's what saved it. But you play that game again, it doesn't have a
Yeah,
rewatchability, replayability, or whatever. Yeah, but I know what
yeah.
you mean, man, for sure.
So that's what gets me, man. It's just the
Yeah.
really repetitive levels. Like there's not like it feels very mechanical. It feels very
Hmm.
cookie cutter.
Stale. Yeah.
Yeah, and but there are some points in the story where it's like character based. Like you play and you're introduced to the game as Kamala
Nice.
Khan, which is Miss Marvel.
Nice.
I didn't know too much about her going in, and to be honest, not that I don't care about her, but when
Yeah.
I heard I was playing an Avengers game, I wanted to play as a fucking Avenger right off the bat, like
Yeah.
someone
Of
that I
course.
knew.
Yeah.
Like that was the and like this game had so much hype and expectation around it that I think that hurt it in itself. Like there was a
I think
lot
they get
of
too, yeah, I think they get too fancy. I just want to interject. I think they get too fancy with these games sometimes because, it's too, I should say even more political. Like you just said, you see how simple it is? It's like, I just want to play the game and play as an Avenger because that's why I'm buying the game, right?
yeah, and I
But you have
want
to
like a
play
free roam
as,
element. Like I want to
exactly.
explore this character, right?
But I
On
could
my
see
own.
exactly. And I could see everyone saying, no, you got to play as this character because we have to show, I don't know, just
Oh,
a
there's
balance.
also
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's also one more gripe I'm going to say before moving on from this game, but is that you can choose whoever you want to be, right?
Okay.
But there are certain elements or certain times in combat when you're going against like the storyline bosses, because there's a bunch of
Yeah.
side missions, you can just be whoever you want to be. But during the story, I found it so annoying where I'm like kicking the ass of this boss so hard with Iron Man or something, or Thor even. And there are certain times where it forces you to change characters. And it's
Oh my
like,
God. Why is that?
yeah, well, I don't know. I thought it
Oh
was
my
such a
God.
mistake for them to
But they
do
don't do
that.
it in a creative, inventive way. It's kind of like just you have to do it.
It's like with all of these characters, they have a lot of strength that like it's not even like you really needed to be that person to complete that one thing that they wanted you to
Right,
do in
right.
that moment. But it's like I'm playing really invested, like I'm really invested in Iron Man, like I was saying, and like his powers, I know how to use them. Like I can like rip apart a whole level with him. And
Yeah,
then like if I'm fighting against a boss, I'm hyping up my Iron Man. I'm like updating his stuff, upgrading his skills, and then I get swapped to fucking Black Widow, and I'm like with these two fucking
100%. Yeah.
guns that
Dual
I
wield. Yeah.
didn't well that I didn't even update or upgrade because I'm like I was prepared to take this boss with Iron Man, and I'm like
Oh, okay. And now I'm
changing.
starting to understand your frustration
You
because
know what I mean?
you're not upgrading. Like when they switch characters, they could basically throw you under the bus. It's a disservice to you because you can lose immediately because you didn't
Exactly.
focus all your time and effort on balancing the team. Like for example,
Yeah.
because you want to play as Iron Man, like you said, and I'll make
Exactly.
the decision as the player if I want to play as Black Widow, but I don't. So leave her out of this.
Exactly. So it's like one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like you feel like you're kind of forced to do that. So that hurts it in itself as well. I found that so annoying. Imagine you're killing it. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then you're
But imagine,
some
imagine playing as Kratos, right? God of War. Let's go bring it back. You upgrade him like he's just a badass. He has the armor, like impenetrable, whatever. And then they switch while you're in the mid boss to like Atreus. They
yeah,
just throw in Atreus, and you just get annihilated because you forgot to upgrade his suit or whatever, or his bow.
exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
basically how you can relate the two. Wow, that's insane, man.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that I think we're kind of going against it. So it's very bittersweet, that game, because it's like, and you know me,
Yeah, you have a love hate with it.
I have a, yeah, but yeah, and I left it for a while and finished God of War. I even like milked God of War because I didn't want to move on yet, and I did not want to play the Avengers.
So
And I was like,
did you platinum it? Like what happened?
no, no, I didn't platinum it yet. But
Oh, okay. But
I
you
got
just
to.
you got in there, like
I
figured
have
out
to.
everything.
I have like 3 or 4 more Valkyries to uncorrupt, so I have to fight them.
Okay, cool, man.
But other than that, like all the story points, all the favors, all the side stuff is done. But
So
actually, what got me back into the Avengers
yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah.
fact that I saw that they finally updated it for the PS5. I'm like, okay, all right,
Oh, okay, beauty. Yeah, you're sold.
let's try
Yeah,
this again.
that must be gorgeous, man. I can't wait to play it on.
Oh,
I got a new TV in my basement, like 75 inch. Fucking
yeah.
just waiting to rip it. Yeah.
What I had, 75. Nice.
Yeah, no,
That's
well, we just
huge.
renovated the basement. Obviously, credit to my parents, like that's their investment. But, I set up a little spot. So if I do cop the PS5, hopefully soon, I can't wait to play Miles Morales on that.
Oh
Swing through New
man,
York City. Yeah, I'll
it's
take
gonna
a
be
video
so
for you
good.
guys. I'll go on
Yeah.
Twitch.
Do you know
Not
what I
kidding.
actually?
I actually want to try that out. By the way,
We'll try it out, man. You
Twitch,
just play it live,
Twitch.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like I have no idea like what I'm doing. Like I have to look into it. I'm sure it's pretty straightforward, but I want to give it a shot for sure.
Yeah. Another thing I was gonna say is that I had no idea that there was a difference. I thought because the controller itself, like you get
Yeah.
legit updates to that, and I've gotten 2 updates for it, and it's actually like they've updated it in the way that it like actually works with the haptic feedback.
Yeah.
But something that I didn't know was that it actually interacts with you differently. Similarly, it interacts differently on PS4 games when you're playing PS4 games on the PS5. And I think it's possibly because it feels more just like how it would react as a PS4 controller. And the only reason why I know this direct comparison is because I was playing the PS4 version of the Avengers on the PS5, and
Right.
there was haptic feedback. There was everything going on. It felt
Hmm.
very similar to the amount of feedback you get from a PS4 controller, but I hadn't had I thought that was just how the PS5 was reacting with it,
Right.
and I thought that playing anything on a PS5, you would just always get this really rich PS5 haptic feedback with any game that you're playing on the console. And I realized that once I updated the Avengers thing to the PS5, there was way more haptic feedback with the actual native PS5 version
Oh,
of it.
because they provided. You're saying that update allowed the game, because before that they didn't. Because some games don't work with it. You're saying like the haptic feedback.
Well, no, so the haptic feedback works, but I've just
Oh,
realized that with native PS5 games, you're going to get
okay.
more of a rich haptic
Oh,
experience.
right, because it's designed for that
Exactly.
experience. Yeah. Okay. Good.
So, but I didn't actually even realize that when I was playing my other PS4 games, because I only have a few PS5 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, and yeah, it's rich with that. And then I was playing like 4 other games that were
Yeah.
PS4 that I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I'm just used to how that's reacting. But it was kind of off-putting to like feel the heavy difference between like controlling these characters on the PS4 version of it than the PS5. But I thought that was interesting. So
That's great, man.
you're gonna definitely see
I
that.
can't wait. I honestly can't wait, man. And hopefully when things get better too, like definitely come over and we'll rip it, on
Oh
75 inch. Just show me your moves, maybe slap me around on Twitch, whatever.
yeah.
We can even like
Yeah.
start something. Like, again, this is all hypothetical, but I think it'd be really cool, like down the road, if you want to get into that.
Yeah, man.
We love
I'm
video
open.
games, right? Yeah, I know you're open. You're always, uh, yeah, again, open-minded to any of these ideas. So I'm like really excited about that.
Yeah.
I
Oh
want to get
man.
into. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one last thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
Playing God of War at this
Hmm.
point,
Yeah,
and then having Ragnarok coming out this year as well.
yeah, you're a lucky man. I know,
Oh
because well,
man.
not a lucky man, but you have a PS5. Sorry,
Oh no.
I'm really envious of this guy.
Yeah, lucky man. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
ready for it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
happy that from playing this game fully, I'm not gonna have to wait too much time to play
yeah,
the follow up.
yeah.
Anyway.
You binge watched the video games. You binge
Oh yeah.
played.
Oh yeah. Okay, that
Yeah,
was it. That was
it's
it.
true.
All right.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you basically made a nice transition to my next point. I wanted to know, like, what PS5 games are you most looking forward to? Because
Oh
I
man.
know I have my list, and well, actually, let's see over here. So just shoot me a game, and we'll search it up.
All right. So, Gotham Knights. Did you end up looking up the trailer for that?
Gotham Knights. No, I did not.
Oh
Apologies, but I will
man.
do it.
Right
No
there.
sound on this. Yeah. PS5.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go here. So Gotham Knights, what's going on with this game?
All right. So this is what I thought was a follow up to the Arkham series because it's created by the same people. I found out shortly after they released this trailer, like end of last year, that it's not related to the Arkham series at all. It's a new story. The
Right.
mechanics all look very, very, very similar, which is why I thought, just watching the trailer initially, that it was going to be sort of like some sort of follow up. You'll watch the trailer, but the premise of this game is that Batman dies and he passes the torch to the Bat family, which is
Wow.
Robin, Red Hood.
These guys right here.
Yeah, those guys were Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Batgirl. So
Batgirl. I was gonna say there's a female Batman. Nice.
yeah. So and she's actually Barbara Gordon, which is in the comics that connects directly. That's Jim Gordon's
Yes.
the commissioner. It's his daughter,
I remember
and
that.
so she becomes like an entourage.
Yeah.
She Batman takes her under his wing and kind of creates this whole Bat family here. Like Nightwing, he was the first Robin, Dick Grayson, and he sort of moves out of the Robin
I remember that.
mantle and creates his own identity. Yeah, and then the next Robin is there. But yeah, all I know about this game is that Batman's presumed dead. These guys are protecting the city, and there's new threats, very similar gameplay mechanics to the Arkham series, which I love. That was actually the first game that I played on the PS5, the Arkham Knight. Oh man, my girl actually came home, surprised me with this bad boy.
Oh yeah, show us.
It's a comic, but it's can you see it?
Yeah, let me hear. Yeah, that actually looks really intense. I love it.
So this is it. It is
Is that a
directly
suited
related.
up Batman?
No, bro, this is the Arkham Knight.
Oh, the Arkham Knight. Oh, that's like a character.
Yeah, so this is the
Okay.
villain in the game.
Oh, the villain. Okay.
Yeah, and this comic here is basically his origin. And
Nice.
have you played Arkham Knight?
No, I haven't. I. This is why I'm taking a huge lesson from you. Like I'm getting schooled because I have no idea what's happening. I've obviously okay. I played a bit of it. I'm lying. I think it's the first one, where you go into Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And you know the Joker's there, and you have to like basically slap people around. You know, just typical Batman stuff. I really enjoyed it because it was gritty. But then they came out with all these sequels, and I just never really got into it. But the game right now that you're saying, Gotham Knights, looks really cool. I wanted to get into the gameplay, but yeah, for sure. Continue what we were saying.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta watch the trailer once we're done here.
I will. My bad.
It looks so great. No, it doesn't matter. It's so crisp, man. The cinematics, but the story, you're gonna get some gameplay in that original trailer as well.
All right, cool, man.
But yeah, no. So this is definitely highly anticipated.
Highly recommend. Well,
list.
gameplay, like I said, looks great, and you know, there's a lot. There seems like chase scenes, like that. That looks like the bike from the Dark Knight, the cinematic version. The bat.
Do you know what's sick as well? For Arkham Knight, there's free skins. You can play as either the Nolan Dark Knight, like they have the Nolan Dark Knight skin. They have the Batman versus Superman Batman skin. That's
like
right
all
there.
these, like this. Oh, that's sick. Actually, it's like Spider-Man, right? You can play in different suits.
Pretty much. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, so look, that's the right there. That's
Nolan, right?
But look how good it looks, right?
Yeah, it looks amazing. The detail, yeah. And then this is, I think, Zack Snyder's.
No, not that one. That's actually that is the new one, but that's a concept, I think.
Oh, this is from the 89. You can play as the 89 one? The Keaton?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there's the whole
you can play. You can play with all of them that have happened already. So the Batfleck, Christopher Nolan, all of the OGs, and then there's a bunch of comic book accurate costumes there as well. But I thought that was really cool. I like how it connects. I'm a huge fan of the Batman games, so I'm happy that this Gotham Knights looks to sort of follow in what I like about it, and just seems to it's going to be investing us in another story. So I'm excited.
Well, I'll give my take on what I'm looking for
sure
too. And I know it's something you agree on. It's called Horizon Forbidden West. Because did you finish Zero Dawn?
I went back to it. I was playing it on my PS4. I went back to it, and I've been playing it casually.
Oh man, you got to watch the trailer. I probably already did, but it's just.
This one I've already seen.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like the original. I'll be honest, it takes some time. I know a lot of people that get frustrated with it because it's kind of, they don't teach you anything about the game. Like you just kind of get thrown into that world. It's open world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once I got the hang of it, I was really invested. Like the story and just looting and killing machines and acquiring materials to buy outfits and customize your weapon. But again, I think it was the story. I thought it was really unique what it was. Don't want to spoil too much, but it was kind of a given. Like I had a feeling what it would look like turn out to be.
Yeah.
Like with Aloy and her journey. But Forbidden West just looks remarkable. It looks absolutely insane. I can't wait to see where the story goes.
Click on that one. Click on that one.
This one?
Yeah. Oh man, the world building is awesome. That's honestly what saved.
That looks like San Francisco
for me.
Yeah, because it's post-apocalyptic, right?
Yeah.
That's the original. Yeah.
The gameplay I actually really liked from the first one. I never finished the story, but I love looting. I love big open world games. So like to just kind of discover, and along the way you run into like certain territories of like each of these creatures. So it's like you can even just create your own mission, like discover the whole map, and along the way you'll just come
Yeah,
up with
man.
all of
Yeah.
these like
Challenge
challenges and
yourself to be
everything.
better
So I honestly
as a
had more
character.
fun just playing it like that, discovering the whole map
Oh,
and
that's
running
cool.
these
Yeah.
things along the way. So that's what I kind of went back to play it as, and
Yeah.
that's also a
Nice.
good way to like. And I wanted to sort of refamiliarize myself with like the controls and all
Yeah,
that
yeah. Get
before I
yourself
hop
ready,
in.
right? Yeah.
Because yeah, because
This.
I
Yeah.
want to
Sorry. Go
finish
ahead.
it. I was
Yeah,
gonna say
for
that I
sure.
just want to finish it before I get Forbidden West. So
Yeah. This.
I'm
She
excited.
even ages like in the next game. Like there's
Yeah,
a
I just
difference
noticed
here.
that.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. That's why I wanted to throw out there. I think it's gonna look gorgeous on the PS5. Like I said, 75-inch TV. I cannot wait to play a game on that TV just to see the richness of it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a beautiful game. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, once you give it a shot, once you give it a chance, I think a lot of people will. If this game kind of strikes your curiosity.
it's gonna be great, man. Also, man, Cyberpunk
Oh, okay.
2077
So what's
is
going on? This game got a lot of bad feedback. No,
yes.
people just want to
So
throw it out.
well, because they don't have the PS5 version yet, and it's
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
PS5, but they
Right,
made a mistake, man. They made a mistake by releasing it on PS4
they were
because
greedy.
it
Yeah,
cannot. They're impatient, is what
yeah,
I think.
they're impatient too. Yeah, and I
Because
think they folded under pressure with the gaming community.
from what I actually read about, the studio was pushing for it to come out right away, but the developers were like, no, it's not ready. But the studio didn't want to wait any longer, so they put it out, and then naturally it was very glitchy, patchy. The developers told them that in advance, and I think maybe you're right, the studio was being a little bit greedy. They wanted to make the money right away. But
100%. Yeah.
now a couple months later, I went to a EB Games like 3 weeks ago, and they're like, yeah, we're giving full refunds for anybody who bought the game if you didn't want it.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
but I think that once it's patched up, once it's released on the PS5, it's gonna actually have the hardware to give it justice.
Nice.
Because everything that I've heard about, everything that I've read about it, the world is so immersive. It's very GTA-esque, where it's like
Yeah, I
you
heard.
can do anything, like right, and
Futuristic GTA, pretty much. Yeah.
which I really really like because I
Yeah.
actually got GTA 5 for my. It was like $20 on the PlayStation Network a couple weeks ago, so I just copped it just to have because I like to have a Grand Theft Auto free roam game on the
Yeah.
PS5. I'm
Of
like, that's
course,
not
man. Of
bad.
course.
So I got that for that. I don't really play it all that much though. It was $20. I just got it because it was cheap. But I feel like this is gonna
Yeah.
completely.
Why not?
This is gonna
I'm.
make me delete
Yeah.
GTA 5 from
A
my
hundred
hard drive.
percent. I feel like it's too. I feel like once enough people get PS5, we should add. Once it gets into market, I think it's gonna redeem what everyone was hating on it for. And I
Yeah,
really like just looking at the palette, like the cinematics, the cinematography. I should mention, you just get that neo noir,
yeah,
sci-fi, Blade Runner. It's gorgeous. Like you could tell there's a lot of money and time put into it, and I would just hate to see it
yeah.
fade from existence. Really.
It's just one of those games where it's like getting shit on because of the
Yeah.
quality of because it's literally it's being released too soon on a console that can't take it. So
And the gaming
once,
community, let's be honest, can be very nitpicky.
of course.
So they could destroy it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely optimistic about this game. I think that
Yeah.
once everything is said and done,
And apparently they make you
it'll
feel like
stand.
like an actual person. Like there's sexual orientation, there's interests.
You can literally
Um,
measure the size of your cock.
I didn't know that. Yeah, see what I mean? Like I just thought you could like ask someone on a date. That's
Oh no,
crazy, man.
you
You
can
can enhance
literally
all that?
design
Fuck.
this person. You can like there's something that I
Are
saw
you
where
kidding
it's
me,
like
man?
there's like a level from 0 to 100, and you can. But yeah, man. So Cyberpunk is definitely up there for me.
Sure. And then one thing I
And
wanted to mention. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. I was
No, I
gonna.
just wanted
Oh,
to say,
do
this is
you
a
want
bit
to
of a
go
delay.
one and one? You want to go one and one?
Yeah, we'll go one and one. You say
Okay,
yours, I'll say mine, and then we'll
sure.
like look them up. Yeah. So I'll go first. So the Ratchet and Clank series is coming back. I don't know if you're a fan of the series, but I enjoyed these games.
It looks
And
great, man.
do you know anything about these games, bro? Have you played them before?
I had the first two on like my OG.
Yeah.
It wasn't a game that I got into, but I liked playing this game. I liked playing this, and I had it on. I have a version of. I don't remember which one. There's a Ratchet and Clank that I have on my Vita, and that's where I was playing it. But the OG PlayStation games like Ratchet and Clank and like Jack and Daxter, those
Yeah.
are games I haven't got into, but not because I don't like them, because I don't think I ever had even a friend group that played those games. So like I wasn't
Right.
exposed to it. But I've seen trailers for this game. The animation quality looks great.
It's just fun, man. It's a fun game, and I just wanted to say, like, it reminds me of like the PS2 days. I think it's more nostalgic than anything, kind of like a playing Pokemon game,
Yeah, for
Sony's
sure.
Pokemon. But the characters are really likable and fun. There's a huge storyline. Like, I don't know if this is the sequel. Like, I don't know if this is the 10th sequel. I don't know what's going on, but basically, I just think it's going to be look like a lot of fun, kind of like with Cyberpunk. The palettes and the landscapes, they put a lot of detail into them. So
Yeah.
again, it just looks gorgeous. I'm a big believer in like how it looks on the TV, like a display, like just showing it off. So I'm really excited for that, and it's just fun. Like, you could bounce around between gadgets. It's cartoony in a way. There's a lot of good dialogue, back and forth, banter, quippy one-liners, quirky characters. So definitely would recommend that if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. And yeah, looking forward to it for one of the first purchases I'll have on the PS5 for sure. And what was the game that you
Definitely.
wanted to you look forward to, buddy?
So my next one, and I'm and I this isn't even in like an order of like which ones I want the most.
Okay.
I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
So this is getting a lot of hype. Fresh off of like God of War, it has a very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
About the Norse mythology is trending.
yes, exactly. So this free world, free roam. I don't know a lot about the game. I've looked up a lot of gameplay. Um, Coming off fresh of God of War, this is very much in line with that. There's a lot of good things to be said about this game right now, and on the PS5 native as well. So I'm actually really looking forward to this game, and I'm just basing it, like I said, off of the interest that I've built just off of God of War, and the world building in this. It's they're saying it's beautiful, man. Like
Yeah, look
the
at it, man. It's like a movie.
environments.
Like Braveheart, Gladiator, all those kinds of movies we love
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah, I actually only just watched the trailer recently, and it's a pretty good trailer. And it's some of it is in-game cinematics, some of it is just regular animation cinematics. But it looks great, man. It's drawing me in, like I said, because I just got off of God of War. But they have this for PS5, and I'm trying to really get the games that will
Yeah.
make the console shine. So this is right up next
Assassin's
on my list.
Assassin's Creed has come a long way, I should mention, because I kind of stopped after 3.
Yeah.
But they really have like expanded the franchise into new
Which is good.
territory.
It's
The
good to go
dynamic, the
into
gameplay
another
mechanic. Of course, you always have to, and that's with
direction.
anyone. Yeah, like even as artists, right? As filmmakers, creators, content, whatever, you have to always reinvent yourself. You always have to give people new ways of looking at things, or just kind of constantly keep them guessing, constantly keep them um, perceiving differently. So that's what they've been doing here with Assassin's Creed. Like, the gorgeous shots, like cinematic, very beautiful. I might get this myself as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely
but
worth checking out
great.
the trailer. Just
Yeah, for sure,
check it
man.
out. I follow IGN on YouTube. They've released they release um, reviews for all these games, so I always take a look
Right.
there before I check it out,
Yeah.
because they go in depth with like everything from like the graphics to the storytelling to the gameplay mechanics, and then give a final verdict and a rating out of 10. And I've always really trusted their feedback, because I agree with everything, because when you critique a movie or something, and you're just a regular goer, and like you don't know really what to look for, like what you're looking for when you're in a sense critiquing it, or like being like, oh, like
100%, man.
right. But then as filmmakers, I go into a
Yeah.
movie and I'm like looking at everything so technically, the shots to like the dialogue to the actual quality of the acting. And I feel like a lot of people, and I talk with my girl all the time, she's like,
Yeah.
it's funny, since she tells me, she's like, since you sort of introduced me to like all of these elements, I'm like, I can't watch a movie and not look at that. Like, I'm like,
See, there you go. I know it's infectious, man. I get the same reaction for sure, man.
right. So I
Yeah.
feel that way about video games and about the way people critique them, because I'm like, I'm looking for something specific. I'm looking for
100%. Yeah.
elements, right? A lot of people just kind of jump in and have fun with it or whatever, but like there's certain things that I'm interested in, and IGN's always done me good.
I think when it comes to critiquing video games for sure, like, or just taking in their reviews, I'm a very visual person, so I look at the gameplay and see
Right.
if it's something that I, find easy enough, or, I don't want anything too where, The Witcher, for instance, I know it's a great game and I respect, the people behind it and the people that love it. I can see why, but I can never get into it because it's just so much going on. It's overwhelming, where I love video games, but not so much where I can spend a lot of time, invest a lot of time.
Yeah.
So for example, if I watch a gameplay review of that, I immediately, like, my mind goes somewhere else, because I'm like, okay, there's way too many things that you can acquire and build upon and, unlock. I rather it be a nice, concise game where it's like God of War. It's open world. You can do side missions, this and that, whatever. Horizon,
Mm-hmm.
Zero Dawn. But at the same time, it's still a narrative. There's still a story going on. And again, The
Exactly.
Witcher does probably have a narrative, but at the same time, it's not a narrative that I'm really maybe invested in as well. That could play a
Yeah.
part. So looking at the YouTube videos, like the gameplay, and just seeing like the guy review it, you get a sense of what you're getting into.
Exactly.
If it's worth the purchase.
And that's actually partly why I don't love GTA,
Mm,
because like there is some narrative there, but like it's one of those games where like people, I know people who just play it all the time and you're just doing all this random shit. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't like that. Like I like it's cool to have that as an option, but I'm like, I like that idea of a more simple presentation where it's, but in like what you're able to do, it's not super difficult. Like I'm gonna have to reinvent how I even know this controller.
Yeah.
Like even like God of War, even coming off of like the controls of like Spider-Man, were like substantially different, and I was almost like turned off at the beginning by it, because I was like, oh, this is really different. I don't really know if I like this vibe. We'll see. And then I just pushed through it, and then when I got into the mood, I really loved
There
it.
you go, bro. Yeah.
But you got to be kind of in the mental space for it. I have one more game, but you're next, so I have one
Okay.
more game after you.
No, I for me, I would say Miles Morales. But it's a game that's already kind of come out and people already, like yourself, know of. But yeah, I'll just throw it out there because I have to. It's just something I really enjoyed, the Spider-Man games. I wish they would have done a version like this for Iron Man. I think there's a market behind it.
Oh man,
I don't know why they
100%.
don't. Like, can you imagine like changing the skins, and like there's so many marks that you can go through. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they're going to surprise us, but yeah, the game just looks so much fun. I know you dissected this game, and
Oh yeah,
it
on
just like, it
PS4
looks
and
like
PS5.
yeah, it looks like Infamous by Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I get good vibes from it. Um, it's just a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. Just the shots and playing it on the 75-inch TV, like I was mentioning. I just can't
Oh,
wait. Getting that 4K experience.
it's gonna be
I don't
so
know
good,
what this.
man.
I don't know what this is, but
My boy.
yeah, right. Just tech though.
It's
Yeah. Leave it
it's
up to
gonna be
the internet.
incredible, man. Wait
Yeah,
till the PS5, obviously,
of
because you can
course.
buy it for PS4. But
No, I actually have a funny story. So I actually have it. I thought I was gonna get it, stupid me, around Christmas. So I just bought it because I wanted the
so you
launch
have the
edition.
PS5
So I
version.
have the game. Like, I just have it sitting in a box. But I underestimated, or I overestimated my chances of getting it. So yeah, it's just sitting there. But eventually it will come out and I will be able to get it. But it'll be ready to play. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, man. Yeah, the PS5 version of it, and just comparing it to like the first Spider-Man, there's enough in like his skill set that makes the combat feel will separate itself from Peter Parker's style.
Right.
Um, I love the environment of like the winter New York.
Mm,
I think that's really cool. I have family in New York. I love Christmas in New York. I know a lot of people
yeah.
that I've
I
watched
went actually
love
one New
New
Year's
York.
too. Yeah,
Oh,
so I can relate. Yeah.
it's great, and it really takes advantage of the environment enhancements that the
It's
PS5
believable.
will
Yeah.
offer. Yeah, everything. Like you're really gonna find that, and a lot of people like my girl's like, oh, I can't tell the difference between the PS4 games and the PS5 games. How they look the same. I'm like, you have to like, it's not gonna. It's drastic in certain for certain elements, like, and it's
Yeah.
mainly the quality and
You
definition
can wait. Look, Winter
of
Suit is Miles
yeah.
Morales. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of skins. The Spider-Man skins for Peter Parker were much better than the skins you're gonna get from Miles.
Oh, 100%. I
There's
believe
a
it.
lot less.
Yeah. This is more of a history, right? With the original Spider-Man.
Exactly. Like there's less history
This
or
guy's very young,
comic.
like in the
Yeah.
comic book world. Yeah.
Like my favorite ones are probably the Spider-Verse one, and so that Christmas version of the Miles
Yeah,
suit.
with the scarf. Yeah.
Like that is his actual suit in the game. They just
Yeah,
threw like a scarf and a
Spider-Verse.
hat on
Yeah.
him.
So
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
I'll
really
probably play as
cool.
this guy. Yeah.
And actually, when you play as this skin,
Yeah.
there's did you ever play you played the first Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you can apply a certain um, something to your visor, like a an effect or some sort of power up.
Nice.
So when you have this suit, you can there's a comic book um, addition you can add to your visor that makes everything you do, every punch you throw, it says pow, bam,
Oh, that's
bam, whatever.
amazing.
But just like in Spider-Verse, like how everything was that sort of unique animation, it turns almost everything around you into the same thing, which is really cool.
So yeah, that sounds awesome. And on that note, like I can't wait to dive into it. Really, man. Like it's sitting in my box, like I said. But uh, I don't mind. Like I know eventually I'll get it, and I'm gonna tell you everybody about it. Give myself my own review.
Oh
But
yeah.
on that note, before we go, what's the last video game that you would recommend or
So
that you're kind of looking forward to?
so the last one I'm looking forward to, and I know you love these as well, man.
What's up?
The Hogwarts Legacy game.
Oh my God, I was gonna mention that, but I'm not that big of a fan of Harry Potter. But yeah.
Bro, this looks well, you read the books recently, right?
Yeah. No, I love Harry Potter. I should say that, but yeah, I could see why you recommend it for sure, man.
So what I like about this, and honestly, it wasn't the top of any of my lists before, but
Open
the
world.
fact that they're making this an open world, like
Yeah.
exact replica of Hogwarts and everything. I grew up with the books. I love the movies.
Yeah.
The quality that this looks like
Look at
it's
that.
going
Yeah.
to be.
Hmm.
I think it's just going to be really cool. I think that I've never played a video game. Well, I played the Lego. I have Lego Harry Potter that I had on my Vita, but I've never played a Harry Potter game. I love the books, love the movies. I want to play a game. So this looks to be promising for Harry Potter
I think
fans.
for a lot of fans of Harry Potter, like look at the drag. Like I love dragons, and I hope you can ride it or attack it or something. But it's just I'm probably gonna get it myself. It's just probably after the video games I mentioned, just because of the lineup and how
Yeah,
much I'm looking forward to those. But yeah, this game looks just amazing, and I cannot wait. There's so much detail, the richness, even the gameplay. Like, the trailer is just insane. I love when they go like "and legends," and then they have like Harry Potter here.
yeah.
I think that's him. But yeah, man, a lot of great stuff with these video games, man, and I'm just really looking forward to, like I said, getting a PS5. Finally, my hands on it. I'm hoping that by the time this podcast is published, or the next time we have this conversation, I'll have it in my hands. But it's been tough. I don't know what's going on. I know there's more priorities with vaccines and the virus, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they can't
With
just
my
make a PS5.
PS5.
Yeah, right. Like every time, I'm just hoping for a pop-up shop of PS5, not a pop-up clinic. I'm just
Literally,
teasing.
man.
No, we our prayers are with everyone for sure. It's a crazy time, and that's why we love video games. It's an escapism, like I said before, like I said at the beginning. It's a way of us to take our minds off of things, and I believe it's a creative outlet, as proven with you, man. It's a way for you to get inspired, come up with a new cool idea, or just blow off steam. Right? You're working hard every day. I know you. You got a great job. At the end of the day, you got to wind down. And sometimes you don't want to watch a movie. Can't sit still. Like that's a big thing for me. Can't sit still. So I just like doing things with my hands and playing video games, and whether it's a Switch or PS4, not 5.
Not 5.
Yeah, not 5. Sorry, when are you out of the house so I can?
I'll give
so I live
you
at this
my
address.
alarm code so you can just not take my PS5. No.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, yeah, man. I'm really happy we got to touch base on this again.
Yeah, 100%.
I hope we have more episodes when I start killing more games. But yeah, man, that's my piece.
All right, man. Yeah. Thank you again for coming on the podcast, Marc Anthony Sarria. Really appreciate you sharing your insight on the PS5 and your gaming experience. A lot of great picks, and really helping us, dive into this new world, right? This world of video games, technology, and where it's taking storytelling. So thank you again. I really appreciate it, brother. And thank you again, guys, for listening. All right. And we'll talk soon.
All right.
Take care.